Hi there, and welcome back to the Lead Her Lab. And just in case it's your first time with us, welcome to the lab. We're excited to have you. My name is Marsha Flemings Walker, and we're going to dive right into today because I'm using some pretty strong language. All right, so today we're talking about 3 reasons why your team hates you. Yes, I said it. They hate you. Well, maybe they don't hate you, but they just don't like working with you, or they're running for the exit, or they're disconnected, they're disengaged, and you just seem to get the bare minimum out of them. If this sounds like something you've been experiencing, then these may be 3 reasons why. So, number one is you're making everything all about you. You're making the success about you, the ideas about you. It's just your voice that seems to matter. So, the way that we are going to get through this and process this is that as I've shared these 3 things with you, I want you to pause and think if you've been showing up in this way, because sometimes we have unhealthy habits. And if we're not reflective, we don't identify it. So don't be so quick to dismiss it and say this isn't you, because it just may be. But let's really evaluate if this is something you've been doing. So when they come to you with their ideas, do you really listen? Do you give them feedback? Do you work through it with them? Right? Or maybe internally you think about it, you process the idea, and maybe you think it's not such a great idea, but do you go back to them and do you communicate, okay, here's what I think you can tweak, let's give it a try, whatever the communication is going to be. But if it's just your thoughts, your ideas, your vision, when the praises come, when the success comes, it just seems to be you that is lifted, you that is elevated, then chances are this is a reason that your team is disconnected. This is a reason that your team may be feeling uneasy. They may be looking for other opportunities. And especially if you have all-star people, like really good talent on your team, talent like that is always going to want to be challenged. They're going to want to be recognized, and they're going to want to grow. They're not going to stay someplace where they feel that their ideas and their suggestions and their thoughts are not being given room, at least to be explored. Right? So stop for a second and think, have I been making everything about me? When we go into meetings, yes, obviously, you are the decision maker. And so ultimately, that comes down to you. But in making your decisions, do you create space for your team to identify that their voice in the matter has some weight, that there is space and room for them to offer these suggestions, for there's space and room for their creative ideas to be tried. And even if their idea isn't quite spot on, that you make room for it to be tweaked and for them to try it. Right? So you want to examine, have I been making it all about me? When the results of the team are being praised, do you come back and share that with them? Right? So that's the first thing, that your team may not enjoy working with you, or that H word, right? Is that you're making it all about you. So number 2, which is very closely connected to number 1, is that your team does not feel seen. They feel like being a part of your team, they're just employee number 2,145 or number 15, whatever the number may be. They don't feel seen. They just feel a part of a number, or they just feel like a number on your team. And what does that mean? It means that, again, not only are their ideas not heard, but there seems to be no interest on your part to solicit their ideas, to understand their vision, to understand what fuels them, what drives them, what makes them eager to come to work, or in their case, maybe not so eager to come to work, right? Are they seen? So yes, you know the names of your team, and maybe you know the names of their kids or other people in their family or some of their external interests because there's office talk. But do you know why they show up? Do you know why they chose your organization? Do you know the vision that they have for themselves? Why is this even important? When you have, and again, I'm going to go back to, if you have talent on your team that are high achievers, high performers, who are go-getters, they're going to want to be someplace where they can grow. And in order for them to grow, you as their leader, you would have to have an interest in where they want to grow to and how you can partner with them. And not just have that interest and know it within yourself, but it's also communicating and posturing yourself to say, I want to know where you want to go. I want to know where you want to grow to, and I want to see how I can partner with you to get there. I want to see how I can partner with you to get better, right? As a leader, your desire should be that you aren't the only person growing and getting better, but that every person on your team is growing and getting better, and that you are acknowledging that growth in them. All right. So again, the assessment for you is sitting back and examining. Have I really been seeing my team? Am I tuned into them, and do they know it? Do they know it? If they should be asked no today, does your boss have an interest in your success in this organization? What do you think their answer will be? And if you think that there will be anyone saying no, I certainly don't see any evidence of that, then it's time to make some adjustments in how we're approaching things. All right. And again, it goes back to the very examples I use. You can have these conversations, and they don't have to be these long meetings, but you certainly want to be outside of annual or biannual assessments or evaluations or whatever your organization calls it. You want to make sure that you're creating space for touching your team members, each person on your team, frequently or regularly. Let me use that word. You want to make sure that you're touching them regularly, so that you have your finger on the pulse of the team and of each person on the team. And this gives you opportunity to ask them, what's next? Where do you see yourself going? What's the next thing that you are aiming for? And let me challenge you. I didn't plan to say this, but this just came to me. I want to challenge you. Do not be taken aback if one of them say to you that, I want your position. That's where I want to grow to. Now, it may sound like a crazy thing to the average person, but if you are concerned about your own growth and success, that means you should have a plan about where you are going. And you should desire then to be able to see someone from your team, someone that you've been preparing, someone that you've been cultivating to step into that role. You should desire to see that for them. And there should be no angst about it, because you know that you have a plan for your own growth to get to the next level as well. All right. And ultimately, even if you prepare them before you are ready to go, it only makes your team that much stronger. It only makes the results that you produce that much better when they are performing at a higher level. I'll do another video about a time when I was effectively able to do this with about 80% of my team. All right. And the final one is very connected to the first two, is that they don't see an opportunity for them to grow. They don't feel like there is any opportunity created or any interest expressed for their growth, right? And again, you'll see a connection with all three. So when you have high performers, high achievers, people who are passionate, people who are driven, they won't want to stay at the same place. They want to grow, and they want to know that the people that are the decision makers for them are also interested in their growth and interested in them climbing the ladder in the organization and not threatened by their desire to do that. So are you having those conversations with your team? Or are you making them feel like, don't come for my job, don't come for me, don't stay in your lane? Because if that is the case, then what you're asking them to do is to shrink. What you're asking them to do or telling them to do is to offer less to the role that they're currently in than what they're capable of giving. And in order to get all that they're capable of giving, you have to help. You have to see what they're capable of giving. You have to help them see what they're capable of giving. You have to create space and room for what they're capable of giving to come out. All right. So I just wanted to offer this to you today as 3 reasons that your team may be making a run for the exit. and give you an opportunity to sit with it, to examine it, and to see if any of these are things that you may have been doing. And it's okay to start now, right? Even if you haven't been doing the right thing all along, the opportunity and the time to make a change is now. So please, let me know in the comments if this resonated with you, what part of it resonated with you the most, and what your experience has been, whether it is you're part of a team and you are not particularly fond of your boss, your manager, your director, whatever the title is, right? And if any of these reasons stand out to you, all right? And as always, if you are new here, if this video spoke to you, please subscribe so that you can get more information, more of the content that will be shared on this platform. And like, share, comment, all of that YouTube stuff, you know what to do. But in particular, the thing I'm going to ask you to do is to share with someone who is either a young professional who's just stepped into a leadership role, or someone that you know that has been in leadership but is hoping to become better, or maybe they're not hoping, but they could do with a bit of improvement. All right. Until next time.